Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the...
You cut me off.
Everybody, it's me, Todd. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We're thrilled to death that you're listening to the show. All right.
Woo.
Yes. This is going to be 416. We have got a fantastic guest revisiting us to keep us updated. You know, as we like to do. People build stuff. They don't stop building stuff. We need to find out the new stuff that they're building and share it with you.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Stuff builder, who are you?
Hey, everybody. I'm Mark Turley from Summer School Electronics.
Yay. Okay, no hot for teacher jokes. We're going to leave those out of this completely.
I mean, we have a hot teacher store exclusive pedal. If you want to pedal this as hot teacher, we do have those.
That's true. You need hey, that's a great segue. Where can you go find the things that you do, Mark?
We are all over Reverb. You can go to our site, which is summerschoolelectronics.com. We have a bunch of dealers all over the U.S., some in the UK, some in Canada, some in Australia. And yeah, you can go to that whole Google machine. I'm sure it'll pop up.
Excellent. Then we have, let's see. Well, Tony.
Yes?
What do we have for announcements right now?
Well, you know what we should announce is for people that maybe haven't listened to the show before, what we do.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Do it.
So what we do is we talk about gear, and we like to talk to the people who make the gear, as evidenced this evening. Mm-hmm. And it's, pedals.
Did you listen to NPR on the way here? What's going on?
Oh, boy, everyone's a critic. We like to get into the weeds.
Give me the Tony.
And we like to talk about guitars and amps and pedals and accessories and pickups, all the good stuff. We talk to the people that make the stuff, and we learn a little bit about why they got started and things. And sometimes we do these 101 episodes where we learn, go in depth on a particular brand.
We've been busy doing the 4 on the floors. We got to get another one of the 101s in.
We do need another 101.
Yes.
So, all things considered, this podcast is your source for learning about the people that make really cool stuff.
Yeah, the stories behind it.
Yeah.
Because it's really important. We think that's the whole reason that we're doing the show since day one. It's good to get a connection with the person building the thing that you want. I think that's really... It's important. It's not always possible, but when you can, it just makes that thing better. You get more attached to it. You have a connection. Other people that have those. It's a rare thing in the great world of every product you can think of where this actually happens. And I'm glad that we get to do that for all of you out there listening.
I'm glad too.
Yes, don't tailgate. Take this easy. Just chill.
Yeah.
And
there's plenty of time to get where you're going.
Give it 2-car length and
at least a car and a half.
Car and a half. 2 cars. Sneakers like to go.
I had that happen on my way down to the studio today.
It's terrible. It's useless.
And so what I did?
What?
I just slammed on the gas pedal and ran him right off the road.
I applaud that in your mind. Yes. Anyways, okay, Mark, anything to add to that as a signature builder?
I mean, just drive safe, make sure you use your blinker. Don't pass on the right. I think those are the big parts I can contribute as a pedal builder.
Okay.
Drive safe.
Perfect. Okay.
Do you build gas pedals?
Okay, anyways. You know what? That's actually a really good question. I'm not aware of a thing called the gas pedal. I don't know that. I'm sure it's out there, but I don't think I've run across one.
I feel like I've seen something similar. I can't remember. It wasn't. I don't think that was the exact title, but I feel like I've seen someone make that.
There's a
pun
gas
before.
pedal. There's a bike pedal. There's a.
Yeah.
Flower pedal. There's a.
You know what the hardest thing was when we made a boost pedal? It's so hard to come up with a pun for a boost pedal that hasn't already been made. Like anytime if you're thinking like, I got the best name, just Google it and you'll be like, oh, someone already came up with that one. It took us forever to come up with like names for boost pedals. I don't know why. That's just the one that everybody has a pun
Interesting. For. Okay. That's I think fuzz ones are also very, very difficult. I mean, they're getting harder by the day because there's so many great pedals out there.
They keep making them.
But on that note, we're going to be talking about the one that you are plastering the internet with, Mark. This is the Spring Break Reverb. We have this in our hands. And so we're going to be talking about that. I'm wondering what's going on here. My phone is blowing up, and it shouldn't be. I'm going to... Oh, more garbage, political nonsense.
More garbage.
Okay.
Hey, how about any announcements?
Well, yeah, I think this is actually kind of an interesting one. A big thing, real big thing happened this week.
Really big.
Mark, can you venture to guess what that really big thing is?
Is this about the sale of Reverb?
You betcha.
Ding, 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 ding,
nailed
ding,
it.
ding, 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 ding.
I feel like I'm on Wait, Don't Tell Me. I'm doing great.
Yeah. Well, and personally, I'm kind of excited about this because when we first started the show, we went down to Reverb.
We actually went. We actually went up to Chicago.
Up to Reverb.
We had this discussion last time.
You're right. We went up to Chicago, and sat in the Reverb boardroom with the CEO and pitched him the thing about the show, and he's like, "Yeah, I totally support this. I want you to do ads for us." And I was like, "Woohoo!" And I mean, we maybe had 25, maybe 50 episodes out at that point.
Oh, maybe, yeah,
something like that.
It was
early.
Small.
They took a chance on us, and I really appreciated it. And it was really funny because Jared. He had no idea what was going to happen, and bye, John. Close the door on the way out. Okay,
bye, John. I'll miss you most.
Yes. Jared really didn't know what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there pitching this table, and I got a presentation and everything, and he was just like, "Man, how did you? I didn't know that." He was just flabbergasted, and I was like, "Man, that's what I do every day."
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah.
Anyways, then Etsy came along and said, "See you later, guitar knobs." And we're like, "Womp." So now, maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, you got another chance.
We're gonna go knock on the door and say, "Little pig, let me in."
Yeah, let's just go out to California. You're a California guy.
Yeah, but the shop's in Reverb. I mean, the shop's in. it
is
in
Reverb.
It doesn't matter. You got to sell.
Chicago.
You got to sell to Fender.
Well,
that's who bought them.
Isn't it it's the parent company that owns Fender bought it? Is that what it was?
Sold by Etsy to Fender parent and firm, led by SoundCloud alum. That's the official title of
That's a mouthful.
How they're putting it out there. So
that is a mouthful.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Isn't Fender also owned by a Hawaiian car dealership?
Really?
Yeah, there's something else going on.
It'd be cool if that was the case.
I feel like I had read that somewhere that the family that owns and bought it owns a Hawaiian car dealership
owned by Servco Pacific. I don't know what I
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what Servco is, but they are the majority owner of it.
Well, if they're Hawaiian, they probably enjoy a can of Spam.
Wow.
Did you know that?
Wow.
Spam is part
you
of
are
the
a wealth of ground dwelling information.
No, Spam was the after World War II, there was an abundance
I know
of
Spam. Yeah.
And Spam shows up in all kinds of Hawaiian cuisine.
Yeah, Tony, most people in the world know this.
I'm telling you, Todd, most people don't.
I
tell this story.
I'm pretty sure they do.
I tell this story to everyone I meet, and they're always flabbergasted. They're gobsmacked.
Is that the first story?
Servco owns a diverse group of automotive businesses, including exclusive distributorships of Toyota, Lexus, Subaru in Hawaii. What?
Yes.
So I was right.
You were right.
And a network of over 30 retail dealerships in Australia and Hawaii. I mean,
Mark, you are well on your way to having your answering machine
and here's
outgoing message recorded by one of us.
Here's the thing.
I can't wait.
Early on in my career,
that's what I've always wanted.
Early on in my advertising career, I did a lot for several car companies and their dealerships, and the amount of money that a car dealership makes would make you punch yourself in the neck.
Oh yeah.
For an hour. It is staggering.
Huh.
Yeah. So you 30 of them. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Anyways, the big thing is will that change anything? What I do think is interesting, and it says the lead was Etsy acquired the music gear company for $275 million.
I think it was more than that.
No, Tony, it wasn't.
I'm pretty sure it was more than that.
I don't think it was.
Because that was my offer.
No, in 2019.
Okay.
They sold it for $275 million. So I can't imagine what that is now.
Huh.
With
a lot.
Yeah. I mean, considering how much eggs are, this has got to be worth a lot more.
I would say at least $276 million.
At least. Anyways, so we'll see what effect that has on the industry. We're not going to go deep into this or speculate.
The good news is we'll have a trip to Hawaii now.
No, we won't.
Yes,
Tony.
Come on, Todd.
No,
just send me. I will take care of this. I used to be in marketing.
Do you know what the shipping on you would be? My goodness.
Maybe we'll throw in a car.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll bring. How about this? I bring you back a Subaru.
I like that.
Pretty good deal.
Okay. Aside from that, we do have an announcement. Do you know why, Tony?
I don't know.
We just had our 9th anniversary.
Oh, that's correct.
Yes.
Happy anniversary.
Yay!
Yay!
Yes.
Wait, did I get taken out for dinner or something?
Nope.
Did I get
took
flowers?
myself out for dinner.
I didn't even get flowers.
Yes. I don't bring you flowers anymore.
No,
all right.
you don't.
We're getting pretty silly. Everybody's like, shut up and talk about guitar stuff, you dopes. Anyway, it is a big deal. I'm very happy. Tony, thank you so much for being here and doing everything you've done to help grow the show. Truly, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I'm not messing around, people, because I'm serious when it comes to friends.
He's tearing up over here.
Okay, enough of that. So, yeah, let's find out what's going on in our music world this week. Go, Tony.
Well, so about 6 months ago, I toyed with the idea. Mm-hmm. And after our discussion last week, and you asking me if I had a particular instrument that you could borrow.
A baritone?
Yes.
Did I just ruin your thing?
Well, that's okay.
Okay.
You won't want this anyhow because
right.
it's not what you think.
Is it like a mandatone or something? A bandolin?
It's a bandolin.
Can you imagine trying to play a baritone mandolin? That would be the hardest thing in the world to play.
It would be. Well, about 6 months ago, I talked to my buddies over at Guild, which is now Yamaha. Speaking of things getting purchased.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get one of the, and we actually talked about this at maybe 30 episodes or 100 episodes ago, about a baritone 8-string acoustic.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
So here's the deal. So this is what I ended up procuring, and it'll be here tomorrow.
When you're saying 8-string, just so we're clear, it's the sympathetic string. It's a 6 with 2 sympathetics, right?
2 octaves.
Oh.
Not sympathetics.
Okay, not sympathetics. Okay.
They're not sympathetic at all.
All right.
Which ones have the octaves?
So it'll be the middle 2. So
okay.
In what would traditionally be the D and the G.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in this case,
it's actually the A and the D.
Gotcha.
So the baritone. So here's what I got.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Guild BT 258E. So there's a mouthful, right?
Guild
BT 258E.
E.
There it is.
Okay.
Boom.
It just looks like a regular guitar.
Yeah, but it's not, because it's a baritone, so it has a longer scale, and it has 2 octave strings. It's a jumbo
too.
It's a jumbo. That's my favorite.
I do like a jumbo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why you like me so much.
I was going to let you say that, not me.
Okay. So what's cool about this is, 1, it's a baritone. 2, it's got the octave strings in the middle. So it actually brightens up the sound of a bari, because sometimes they can be a little dark sounding and on the lower end. And this one's tuned B to B, so it's literally a full step down.
Yeah.
It's got a built-in Fishman pickup, and
did you get it?
It's coming tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So you have it for the next episode.
I will have it for the next episode.
No, I was just Googling it, and the first photos came up are like at an angle, so it looked like the headstock gets like wider as it goes farther away from the nut, and I was like, that doesn't seem right at all. Then I found a regular picture and was like, oh,
yeah, it's a nice looking guitar.
Yeah,
that first photo, I'm like, that seems like a really poor choice. I was like, oh, that's a bad photo.
So
but it has the Ovation plastic back, right?
No, it does not have the Ovation.
Can you imagine trying to play a jumbo with a plastic?
I can't. I need a reverse Ovation for it in order to,
it turns like a bongo.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I'm really excited about this. They were out of stock for a while, and then as time passed, I said, well, do I really want to get it? And then I said, you know what? I'm getting one. And so I contacted my friends over at Yamaha Guild, and we worked out a real nice deal.
Very good. Yeah, I don't suppose those are flying off the old shelves there.
You know, I don't know that they've made a lot
What's
of
that,
them.
Tony? Really? Hey, we got one! Oh, yeah, man. We can probably... we might be able to scare one up for you. I'm going to have to twist a couple...
I don't know.
Yeah, it's underneath
My chance, do you want 2 in case one breaks in shipping? I want to know.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it, honestly.
Yeah. I think it should be a lot of fun, and it's something different.
It is.
So
it is.
That's my guitar world this week.
Excellent. Mark, how about yourself?
Oh, new gear purchase.
You got to talk fast. The show's almost over. No,
oh, my God. I recently went and got my midlife crisis here and got a birth year guitar this year. I'm turning 40. So I wanted something from 1985. And the problem is that there wasn't a lot of good guitar stuff going on in 1985. Like, I just couldn't find anything that like all the Fender Tellys had those like weird bridges that had like the really long screws for the saddles. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's like a weird style, and I'm like, I don't know. I could get like a JCM 800, but those are so loud I would never be able to like practically play it at home. But I found a made in Japan 1985 Telly. It's two-tone sunburst. So
nice.
Yeah, and it was like not too crazy expensive. So I was like, yeah, I'm going for it as a early birthday present to myself. So that just showed up I don't know, a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And that's been like my number one lately, demoing pedals and doing all this stuff here.
Yeah, I mean that is a really good era, especially for the Japanese. I mean, actually, for up until was it 83, 84? I forget whenever the U.S. production began again.
Yeah.
That's all you could get. And
yeah.
And they're really well made. I think they were made in the Terada factory in Japan. And yeah, you can't go wrong with those. I've owned several from that era, and they're really nice guitars.
Yeah, it has a little bit of a different neck than I'm used to, because I'm used to playing like more modern Tellys with whatever the shape is. This one's just like a little bit thicker, and I'm like, I don't know, but like playing a different neck just has you playing a little different style, you know?
Yeah, usually now that's unusual because a lot of times the Japanese models had thinner necks than you would expect off of a US model or something like that.
Yeah, it just or maybe it's just me being crazy. I just know that it's different. Like my first thought was like, I think that's thicker than I normally go for, but I was like, I mean, it could just be being just crazy, but I haven't measured it or anything. But I just started playing. I'm like, actually, I kind of like that. It's kind of grown on me.
Yeah.
In the past couple of weeks. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
You could have got a Fender Katana.
If only.
From 1985.
Yeah.
Could have. Well, maybe we'll save that one for my
first 50th.
Yeah. or for someone else.
Yeah.
Or for Todd. Let's buy it for Todd.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. I tried to do that with one of mine, and I couldn't find anything that I thought, maybe I'll try to get myself like a Les Paul from, and nothing. And even you guys were like, they didn't really even make them. There was a was it the recording?
Les Paul recording.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like the 80s in like guitar land was like shreddy heavy metal stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not really what I do. So I'm not like into that. And even some of the more kind of like traditional stuff that I'll like actually use. I want something that I'm actually going to play and gig with and stuff. And I just couldn't find anything that was like cool enough to be worth it, and then practical enough to use,
Well, you could have
retro wasn't really cool then.
Yeah, well, in the 80s it was all like, that was the guitar world, and everything else was like synth and pop and keyboards, and everyone was going to those giant racks instead of like stomp boxes, So it was just a weird time to go hunt for guitars, I guess.
Yeah, lots of that's kind of like the first real wave of single pickups too. I think I feel like that's a lot of like Charvels. And
you mean like the Super Strat stuff?
Yeah, but just single bridge
single
pickup.
Bridge. Yeah, that's all. You need.
So So I was really happy with this little Telly I got sitting over there in the stand.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
and you said it's a 2-tone burst.
It's a 2-tone burst. I think they replaced the original pickguard with it's like the 1-ply white pickguard. It only has like the 5 screws on it. But I might swap that out for a black one. I'm on the hunt for that little thing.
I know a guy.
Yeah, I might go do that.
That's excellent. Well, speaking of guitars, so I apparently turned up a lot of people's ears.
Hey, Todd, what about you?
Thanks, Tony. The baritone thing I was mentioning, I checked with a couple people, and Billy, shocker, who has like an entire warehouse full of Telecasters, he's like, yeah, man, I got you a Fender Custom Shop baritone I'll let you borrow. And I was like, what? Okay. So I played that. That was real weird. That was weird.
Yeah, it's on a Telly especially.
It was real weird.
I have a Parts Caster baritone Telly, and it's a sound.
It was real. It wasn't super player friendly. You know. Now my pal Hex plays. He's got a couple of them. He plays them live, and so I was like, okay, well, let me. It was just I was trying to figure out like channeling something from it, like, hey, guitar, talk to me. What do you want to do? I was checking it out specifically for a couple songs that we're working on, and I'm just trying to find like a slightly different range to sit in for our singer. I don't know that I'm ultimately going to do that. So I'm looking at an alternative. I might be considering a Digitech Drop D, actually, or just a drop, not a Drop D, but a drop.
You could, your next band, if you want to do a Glenn Campbell tribute band. You play in Galveston. You can play the lead from Galveston on your baritone.
Wichita Lineman over and over and over.
Oh, how about like
that was dark.
Like a what's it called? Something cowboy, like a mitten.
Rhinestone.
Like a midnight cowboy.
I thought you were gonna say a mittened cowboy.
Yeah, a mitten.
Like, I don't know.
A mittened cowboy.
Anyway, so there's that. So I did try it. I'm gonna play with it for about another, the rest of the week and just kind of see what happens, see if anything comes out of it. But it was cool to try something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Okie dokie. What I didn't do was tear apart my board and put it all back together again with my Tour Gear Designs patch cables.
Hey, I was going to mention to you in that pedal that you let me try out last week, there's like a ton of Tour Gear Design patch cables in there.
I put some in there.
I know.
Was
I supposed to keep those?
No.
Oh.
I'm glad you didn't, because I need them back.
Okay.
But so But if you do have to tear apart your board, or if you get this Spring Break Reverb in the mail and you're like, shoot, how am I going to attach this to my board? Before that happens, go over to tourgeardesigns.com, get yourself a big pile of these patch cables.
Big pile.
Throw them in your basket and hit buy. After you hit buy, don't worry, it hasn't paid for it yet, okay, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Then you get the coupon code. Then you put in the guitar knobs.
All lowercase, all
one word, and then you get your discount.
How much?
15%.
15%?
Yes. I still haven't talked to them about things. So better go. Better hurry. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, my
Anyway,
dear.
so thank you to Tour Gear for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor.
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right, Mark Turley of Summer School. What is your 4 on the floor?
All right. I had to change it up since last time. So my 4 on the floor, first one would be the Voltic Awkward Mustache. It's one of my favorite Big Muff variants I've been playing. John's great. I traded him a snow day delay for it last year, so I've been loving that pedal. I've also been playing a lot the Acorn.
Whoa. What do you like about that pedal, man?
Oh, sorry, I'm going too fast here. It's Big Muffs. I feel like either speak to you or don't. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but I feel like you just hit a big open E and you're just like, it's great, or it's not, because they're good. And this one just had that feel. Like I just responded right. He has the like switches on the back to like bypass the tone, and there's like a
defeat.
Like a fat. Is that what it's called?
Super. It's super and defeat.
That's what it is. Yes. I don't have it right now because it's down on one of my boards, down in the other room. But it's great. Yeah, it's just a gnarly, mean, big sounding fuzz. And I just, when I've been recording stuff lately, if I need a big muff, normally I would go for our class reunion, but lately I've been like, I want to try this one out instead, and I've been using the Awkward Mustache like all the time. So
I understand that was inspired by the fuzz sound of the 90s.
And as many muff dupes are. Yes.
I do love that sound. So.
Yeah,
there you go.
Those are my people.
Now it's worth mentioning that the Super Switch cuts bass and adds a pseudo ring mod / octave up. It makes it sound pretty funky.
Yeah,
pretty wild, I would say. And then the defeat switch removes the tone stack completely, which is a popular mod for like the muff stuff.
Yeah.
So that just you get the regular mid scoop of a typical muff. Yeah.
There you go.
And it's a beautiful little box. He did a great job with that.
Now can I go on to number 2?
Yeah, come on. We don't have all night, dude.
All right, I'll try.
Chop.
I don't know what your cursing rule is on this.
Well, if you think you can't say it in front of one of your students, I wouldn't.
Oof. I mean, I say a lot. All right, so the next one would be Acorn Amps, another effing clone.
Oh, yes.
Which, I mean, I love it because it says exactly what it is. Like, when you need a clone, it's a great clone, and it's much more affordable than a real clone or a KTR. So that's been really fun, especially on bass, because the clone does that thing where like the clean signal is like with the dirty signal, you know? Mm-hmm. So if you're running bass, it's almost like it has a little clean blend like built into it.
Oh, that's a solid idea there.
So I feel like that's somebody showed me that once, and I started doing that when I record. If I just need like a little bit of grit on the bass, but I don't want to go through the work of like DIing it and miking an amp and then lining up the waves. Just like, no, do that. That little clone bass trick is super, super helpful. And they have a little, I think it's a bass a little switch on it. I think switch in more low frequencies, which is also super helpful for that trick. So
indeed. And Acorn's they got a good group over there. They make some really fun stuff, and
I love Tyler and Bill. Bill was right next to us at NAMM this year.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you guys were like box mates.
Yeah, and he was fighting off death the entire week. And I'm like, you okay, buddy? You need a cough drop? What can I get you? No, we love those guys. They're super cool.
How about number 3?
Number 3, I need a delay, and I've been playing a lot with the Death by Audio Echo Dream, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, okay.
That's another... Yeah, Echo Dream 2. That's what it is. I just remember what it's called. I talked to some of the Death by Audio folks a few years ago and traded a pedal for them with that, and I was like, I don't know, I'll check this thing on. It's like it's wild delay, but it has a fuzz and it like modulates.
It's borderline.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
it's that like my band is getting ready to record another album right now, so we're just like gathering all the sounds we want for like weird solos and like weird stuff. And I was like, oh, I need
that does weird.
You gotta weird. You gotta keep it interesting.
Yep.
And I was like recording a demo, and I'm using that. And once I hit that Echo Dream 2 for the solo, I'm like, I don't think I'd ever be able to like practically control this live. But like, if I'm like sitting on the floor next to it and can tweak the knobs and be like, all right, ready, hit record, it works right now. Like, it's super, super cool. So that's been so much fun to play with.
I don't know that they could have gotten any more on that pedal.
I love that thing. It's so silly.
It's awesome.
And then
number 4.
Number 4, I got last summer. That's my dog. That's Gladys.
Hey, Gladys.
It's not your pedal. Or maybe it was Gus. I don't know. It's one of the dogs. Anyways, the number 4 is the Earthquaker and Death by Audio Time Shadows reissue that they did last year. I don't know if you messed around with that at all.
No.
No, we haven't.
It is... So they did the Time Shadows years ago as like a collab between the two. Mm-hmm. And there was like a toggle switch. And like one side was Death by Audio, one side was Earthquaker. But if you could get the toggle switch to balance in the middle, you got this like weird thing that was like secretly like a rainbow machine inside of it.
Oh.
And I think it was like a glitch that wasn't supposed to be on there, but it was. So they reissued it this past year. And I picked up this cool color variant at Earthquaker Day. And it's one of those pedals that I can't put on my board to be like, oh, you hit that during the bridge. But when you're like recording and you're like, hey, we got to get like chaotic for a second, it's perfect for that. It's just so much fun to like sit and play with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just the description of it. If all of you are like, well, what do they call this thing? It is a subharmonic multi-delay resonator. So
yes, take that as you will.
When you need a subharmonic multi-delay resonator, this is the one to get.
Well, maybe many people don't know that they need one.
Exactly.
Maybe they should just get this and see.
It's a pedal you didn't know you needed.
And the coolest part is like Earthquaker's been doing this series their past couple pedals where there's like 4 knobs and like a little light button in the middle to save presets. Uh-huh. So they assigned it with 6 presets right out of the box.
Yeah.
Some are more Earthquaker side, some are more Death by Audio side. So if you're like, I don't know what this thing does, and you just scroll through the presets, you're like, it does like a million things. And that's before you even start tweaking the knobs, and you're like, this thing's wild. So it's if you're looking for something that you're like, I'm just not inspired to play anymore, this will get you there. It's just super fun to play.
I'm struggling to know how this goes with your double burst Telecaster.
Oh, it's pure chaos. It's completely
well. It's just that is that's one of those ones when you're walking down the street in
the neighbors
Nashville.
Do a wellness check. They need to make sure you're okay.
Yeah,
because it just sounds like all the computers in your house have become sentient and taken over.
Yes,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of sentient, I don't really have any. Speaking of for that.
I talked you into a corner. I win.
He literally blanked out.
I did blank out. I told Tony, I said, Tony, I'm running on fumes, man. So bear with me.
Speaking of sentient.
Sentient, yeah. Well, see, now I always think of whales.
Okay.
but because those are they're sentience, right?
Allegedly,
whales. Yeah, whales.
They're mammals.
Well, yeah, but
cephalopods.
Sentient. Whales sentient. Yes.
They're
Whales are generally
beings.
considered to be sentient beings. Look at me, who knows things, man.
You're smart. So, Speaking of sentient pedals,
speaking of whales, we've got this thing called the Spring Break Reverb that you have been battering our ears and eyes with on the internet very, very well, I must say.
We have a limited marketing budget, so I got to just hit everybody I can with this silly thing.
Yes, I personally really love, when you guys are. When I say you guys, I mean the people that we interview are active and talk about what you're doing and share little things. Like it's just like anything else. A relationship can't, and by relationship I mean like what I said in the beginning. Like we like the idea of having some semblance of a relationship, whether that's a two-way or one-way, with the builders. And when you're friends with somebody, you can't, or like, oh geez, I haven't called my so and so relative, and they're like, what have you been doing? And like, I haven't talked to you in 3 years.
How much time you got?
Yeah. So all that little stuff counts, man. And I think you do a great job of that.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, so this pedal. What is the inspiration for this pedal?
So we've done a lot of drive pedals. We did a delay pedal. I wanted to get into something that was a little bit more than just another like boost, drive, fuzz, or a delay. So I had the idea to try a reverb pedal. And
was that like a prohibitive thing for you to venture into?
I mean, reverb is weird because unless you're going to use an actual physical spring, it has to be digital, right? That's how you have to do it. And going into that world as like a DIY builder with no programming experience, like me, can be a little daunting as to like, how do we get into that? You know what I mean?
Yes. You got to call Gary Newman. That's the way to do it.
Doesn't return my calls. So, I've tried. So there's a piece called the Belton brick, which is basically a component that you put in that stores a digital code on it, and that is your reverb. And then you build a circuit with all the high pass, low pass, tone shaping, all that stuff around this component that's your spring reverb. So I had to find where I can get those and when I can get a number. And that was like, I'm going to make a reverb pedal. But then we got wacky when we were thinking like, no, nobody just wants a spring reverb. You have to add more to it because like your amp has spring reverb in it. So the next go-to would be like hall reverb, which if you were digitally coding, you could just write in a whole new sequence. I'm not doing that. It sounds like a lot of work. So I was like, how can I fake a hall reverb in the spring? And so my thought was like, well, you could work a delay circuit into it, and it'll delay the echoes of reverb, and it'll kind of simulate more of a bigger hall reverb. Mm-hmm. But if you exactly, but if you just run a delay with it, like as if they were two pedals, you're going to get all your pick attacks. So it won't just be like a wash of reverb. You'll get every pick attack delayed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the thing where I'm like, this makes sense to me. Am I making sense to anybody else out there? I don't know.
I mean, unless you really want pick attack delay.
Yes, which that's a whole other thing that exists.
Maybe that can be the summer school too.
Ooh, that's kind of the snow day delay. We already have that. We're in springtime now. And so I was like, well, we could add the delay in a way that it only echoes the reverb. So I figured out a way to do that. So there's a toggle switch on there that'll turn the delay on and off. So if you're like, I just want reverb, my amp doesn't have a reverb tank, you can just turn the delay off and run it like a one knob reverb, like you would a Holy Grail or something.
All right.
And then if you want to get weird, you can turn the delay on, and now it's soundscapey, and you can play with the delay time and the feedback and the mix level. and just like go to town with it.
So I that's one thing I wanted to ask you about, because on this pedal there is only one reverb knob, and so I think are you doing like kind of standard presets for like what you would call either? Well, I think you mentioned that you focused on the hall side of reverb. Was there any desire to make that? I mean, you would certainly complicate things, but could you give the options to run different types of reverb?
So in order to do that, you'd have to use a full-on digital chip, and it's like a whole lot. We've been talking about getting into like building more digital stuff for the last like 3 years. By we, I mean like me and my buddy Steve, who does all our artwork. He does a great job on all our artwork. Him and I have been talking, and he was like, you should learn how to do that. We could do all this crazy digital stuff. And I'm always like, oh, we'll do that this summer. I got time. I'll learn to do it. And then summertime rolls around, and I'm like, hey, 10 other things popped up before when we said we would do that. So I'm like, we're going to put that on the back burner. So I have like...
Are you one of those people that like when you do have ambition, but you also realize that ambition might put you over a barrel? And you're like, I can't do that right now.
For years, I've had a problem like saying no to things. Like if anybody's like, we should start a band and it should do this. And I'm like, well, I don't want that to be the most successful band ever. And I blew up my shot to be in it. So yeah, I'll be in that band. Totally. We'll do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, do you want to do this silly thing? Like, well, I'm not going to say no. So like, I'll keep saying yes while people are asking. But I've tried to get better at that more recently of like, you only have so much time.
Yeah.
So...
By the way, there is a song called Digital Delay that I remember, but from Catherine Deneuve. That was 1998, I believe that came out.
So, yeah, so in order to do a reverb, but not go into like learning how to do this whole coding thing, I had to use that brick piece I was talking about, because that has the code already set in it and you can't alter it.
Okay.
So that was kind of like the challenge of, well, how can you tweak that in an analog way? So it's really kind of like a hybrid. It's like a digital reverb, but there's all these analog parts in order to make the reverb and delay work together.
It's a cyborg.
It is definitely a cyborg pedal. And then we had the idea for the name was, we're doing the whole school thing.
Yeah.
And I thought of it in like the spring of 24, or like February-ish of 24. And I was like, well, at Spring Break, it has to be released in the springtime. And we already had our release schedule set for that year. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get this thing done in springtime. I'm going to have to sit on it for a whole year and release it in 2025. So I've been sitting on this idea to get this thing done for, over a year just to get it out now.
That's fun.
Purely for marketing.
Cool. Do you think you'll ever, based on the school thing, do a pedal called Forced to Serve as Lookout as older kids bully you into pitching pennies and getting caught by the principal?
Is that like your signature pedal? I feel like that's hitting.
I think.
I'm just saying.
Todd has revealed
that's a common
lot.
occurrence, right?
Do you want to hit pause and talk about it for a minute, buddy? I can put you in touch with our school counselor. I'm a little worried about you.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah. This ended up being, when you look at it, you're like, okay, yeah, it's reverb, it's delay, okay. But it's got a very different characteristic to it. I wasn't expecting what came out of that.
Oh, I hope that's in a good way.
Yeah, no, it was. Honestly, it was good. It was kind of refreshing, because like I was like reverb, and I'm twisting, and I'm like, am I supposed to get more reverb or just louder reverb? Or
yeah, and then you hit the switch, and you're like, oh,
yeah, and then the delay.
That's one of the things in like the past couple pedals that we've done, like the science fair. That's like our Rat and Tube Screamer in parallel, or the class reunion, which is like our Big Muff and our Trash Panda overdrive together. I've tried to make it a rule of each pedal should be fun to play on its own, but it should also be practical and usable in like a band or a studio setting. Like I don't want to just make something that's like
the pedals you buy.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be like. I mean, I don't think I can just make a tube screamer that's different than all the tube screamers that are out there.
Do something else.
But it's also like, I don't want to be like, I hooked up 7 ring modulators together. Is someone want to buy this thing? Like,
in reverse.
Yeah, I don't see that being like a big seller, and I don't want to store those at my house.
Yeah.
So, so that's what I was trying to look at it like practicality. It's a reverb. Like, I play an orange amp that doesn't have a reverb tank, so I'm like, oh, I can use that if I want splash of reverb on it. Great, but it's also really cool sometimes just to sit down with a pedal and like explore the pedal to get inspired to write riffs and songs and do all this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I wanted to have something that's like you can play with it and then you can totally bring it to band practice and like, well, we're not going to outer space with it. You could tone it down and still have it be practical and functional, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I suspect that you said, hey, spring break. Wait, spring break, reverb, spring reverb.
There you
go. And they're like, awesome. And they're like, but there's 3 delay knobs on here.
Yeah, that when everyone's like, it's a reverb.
Is it a reverb or is it a delay? Yeah.
That's honestly that we spend so much time going through of like just figuring out what to label the knobs.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, yeah, it's a fuzz, and I'm like, it sounds more drive than fuzz. And you're like, at a certain point, you're like, this is just semantics. So it was like trying to figure out that delay on off switch is we're like, how do we make it say that this side is delay or this side's reverb and this side's reverb and delay without having to go to like 0.5 font size to fit all the words there?
Yeah.
So we're like, well, we'll call that just delay on and off. But like those are these like silly conversations of like,
but that's super effective.
Just little things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you need that for your user to be able to figure it out. And like the science fair, I was like, well, these knobs are black and these knobs are green, and anybody who's buying boutique pedals should be able to figure out which one's a tube screamer, which one's a rat. Like I shouldn't have
which
to.
one is the tube screamer?
You're gonna have to figure it out, buddy.
The purple ones.
Yeah.
Yes. But I was like, I think that's using so much of like what we and even on ours putting the delay knobs as blue, which they're blue on our.
They're
other
really
delay
cool
pedal too.
looking knobs too.
Thank you. I love and hate these knobs. I love how they look. It's become such a crucial part of our aesthetic. They're also like some of the most expensive knobs to buy in bulk when you're like trying to get everything.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's a whole thing. But I do love how they look. And I like using the color into it. We're like, the reverb's just the silver. So you're like, if I'm only using reverb, well, that's the one you're using. And the delay are the blue. So if you're using you can kind of like just tell what goes with what, you know?
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but even if you don't engage, and by engage, I just mean twist, because the reverb it's literally, you're just twisting a knob.
Yeah.
If you have the knob backed all the way down to what would be 0, this has this actually, it boosts your signal.
Yeah, there is, because we're using analog components to try to like tone shape it all, you know?
Yeah.
There is just a little bit of a signal boost to it just because you're running through op amps in the delay circuit.
Yeah.
So it's naturally boosting it a little bit as it goes
Which
through.
is actually kind of cool, especially later on in your chain, you know?
Yeah, and that's the part.
That was kind of a fun, I was like, wait a minute, is that, and I turned it off and I played it, I was like, this is boosting it. And it's a 3-way pedal. What?
Yeah. And it's a weird thing because some people run all Boss pedals, so it's super buffered. Some people run all true bypass, so like you need a little lift at the end of your signal. Some people run those coily cables that like are so long that it starts to take off some of your high end, you know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like some people would clearly notice like, oh, it's boosted, but there are people with, depending what their rig is, like wouldn't even notice what it is, you know? And if you're playing in a live band, it's not like it's not like a entire boost pedal.
No,
so
no.
Like,
it's just it's a bump. It's a bump. It's not even a boost. It's a bump.
Just wakes you up a little bit.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, what is your personal favorite way to use this pedal?
I've been using it. So I play in a like loud punk rock band called Bridge Under Fire that
Bridge Under Fire?
Yep. Cool. That's our loud, shouty punk rock
what's
band.
that? What's the genesis of that title?
It came from when we started a lot of like the iconography of like the stickers and shirts were all like very like World War II themed. And I remember watching like a History Channel documentary, and there was like a sign that said like ahead, bridge under fire, and it was like just a dark comedy of like the war has gone on for so long they just posted a sign to be like just don't go that way, like it's never gonna stop, so we're just gonna put a sign.
More effective than turn back.
Just don't go this way, that bridge is getting shot at, it's under fire, go the other way.
Can you imagine? That would be actually like really entertaining to watch if you were watching like a pretty much serious war documentary, but the sign said like go the other way, or something.
So like, it's kind of a like dark sense of humor, but it's like,
But those are like if you think about like what was it, the Snow White, the original Snow White, I think, and even Wizard of Oz had the signs like turn around, it's like beware and all that stuff.
I'd turn back if I were you.
Yes, I'd turn back.
So it's a similar vibe and a much more similar vibe and a much more gruesome situation. But so we took that for a band name, but
not the best idea. That's
but
I mean, we can realistically we can spend the next 10 minutes coming up with ridiculous sign things to do.
You wouldn't like it if somebody took your apples.
Mark's slowly backing away from the mic. No, go on. Thank you for indulging
Anyways,
us.
No, so like for that band, we don't use a lot of reverb because it's all just loud, fast. So sometimes I'll just turn it on, just the reverb a little bit. But there are times where I'll play with the delay and feedback setting with the delay feature, and we'll just hit it for like the last note of a song. So you get this weird spacey like chaos between songs. Or if we're doing like a bridge where I just have to hit like one note and ring out while the other guitar players being all like fancy and noodly, that delayed reverb will definitely just fill in the gap in a kind of cool, creative way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's how I've been using it for that. I was filming a video where I was running, I haven't posted yet, where I've been running like a ukulele through it. I ran vocals through it, put like an acoustic guitar through it, and just trying different instruments that I had around my house to show what you could do with all those things with a wacky delayed reverb.
You should do this. It'll make your wife nuts. Hook it up to your doorbell.
Oh gosh. Just go for it, but then set it to self-oscillate.
Oh my gosh.
Why are the dogs twitching? I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah. That reminds me of a little tiny story that I now very much want to share. I had when I was working in Minnesota at this agency, there was a friend of mine named Sheldon, and he was an incredible. I think he was like rated number 2 in ukulele next to Jake Shimabukura. Like they knew each other, and he was like as good as him.
That would be ukulele.
Okay, thanks. Yes. Anyways, but Sheldon really, really liked Scotch, and this was at the Mad Men era, right? And he would go out after work and they do Scotch towers, right? And he was a shorter in stature. He was Hawaiian, and it was his birthday, and I decided, what better way after his birthday, after they took him out to drink Scotch all night, than to place an MP3 player in the ceiling tiles where there's no way he could reach it, and it just said, "I love Scotch, Scotchy, Scotchy, Scotch," over and over and over all day. And he was stuck in there because he was like doing motion graphics, so he couldn't like walk away. It was amazing. Okay, that's my little story.
That's a lovely story.
Yes. Yes. So, what else have you got in the oven, my friend?
So we have another modulation-esque pedal that I'm working on right now. It should hopefully be out this summer. And then right now we have a lot of like events coming up. Like we're jokingly have our summer school world tour, which is I got the dates here on May. I don't even know. I don't know what day this episode comes out. But May 3rd and 4th, I'll be in Toronto.
When this episode comes out? This episode will be out. Let me tell you when that is. That date that you're speaking of. In a moment, we'll see. Let's next Tuesday, so that would be the 29th.
So this upcoming weekend, if you're in the Toronto area, you should come to the Stompbox and Synth exhibit, and we will have a board there, and I'll be there, and you can play all these fun pedals.
Awesome.
And then the weekend after that, I won't physically be there, but we'll have a board at the Tokyo Pedal Summit in Osaka, Japan. Oh. And I just sent that over there and had to send a bunch of stuff to our reps over there, so you can go play stuff if you're in Japan. Check that out.
That's super cool. Yeah, we got some people in Japan that listen to the show.
Yeah.
Well, you should go to the Tokyo Pedal Summit at the
that would be amazing.
From what I've seen and heard, it looks pretty cool.
I bet you. I wonder if you know what? Hopefully, yeah. Gil's listening to this.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Gill. Yeah, Chris Gill. Sorry. Chris Gill, who's been on the show many times. He was a long-standing author for like every guitar magazine and wrote a bunch of books. He did the Van Halen book that we did. But he is a fanatic for guitar gear in Japan, specifically in Japan. Not even from Japan.
Then he'll probably be there. You should go check it out.
He probably will, like legitimately.
So that's the May 10th and 11th. And then the week after that, I'm doing an in-store event in Warwick, Rhode Island called Fuzzy's Fine Guitars. It's a new shop that's just opening.
Cool.
So I'm going down there to do that.
And is there a big gear scene in Rhode Island? I don't think we've had anybody on the show from Rhode Island. If you're from Rhode Island and you build gear, get a hold of us.
You should check out Fuzzy's Fine Guitars when it opens. You should also check out Rejects Beer Company. It's a fun brewery that my friend is like the guy at.
Dog likes
and then Gussie loves it. And then in June, I'm going down to Small's Music Shop in Delaware to hang with John from Voltic and do an event there. So we're doing we're going to be at Earthquaker Day in August. We'll be doing Fretboard Summit in August. I'm all over the place this year trying to get all my travels in.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We're busy,
I'm happy
busy
that
folks.
you're and you get to do. I mean, as a teacher, that's one of the perks. Having a little bit.
That
of
is pretty nice.
Extra time.
Once it gets to be summertime, I'm like, all right. I'll be working.
See you later.
Weekend. Yeah, I'll be working on the weekends and off of work during the. I'll still be working up here, but I work from home during the week.
Yeah,
nice,
super cool, man. Yeah. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. The Spring Break pedal is pretty cool. Everybody, make sure you go do your diligence, check one out, get your hands on one, and make your life a little better. That's the tagline for that. Okay, Tony.
Yes, Todd.
What do we got?
Well, at this point of the show,
would you
You sounded lovely.
Yeah, thank you. I had my helium this morning. This point of the show is the game that we love to play.
Would you
I'm going to break Todd's fingers now. So if you hear screaming.
What is our Would You Rather today, Tony?
Well, our Would You Rather today, speaking of spring break and pedals and such, you, as premier guitarist in the world.
Oh.
You, Todd.
Yes. Let me bathe in that for a second.
Okay.
You finally made it.
You made it big time.
Yeah.
So you've been invited to 2 spring break parties. And these are pretty high-profile things.
Wow.
Very high profile.
Uh-huh.
Except
I smell a free vacation.
Maybe so. Well, I'm going to Hawaii to pitch sponsorship.
I appreciate that.
So
yes.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll just. Can you write me a check?
I will.
Okay, thank you. These are pretty high profile, except that both of these people are, how shall we say, past their prime.
They're high profile, but I'm guessing maybe
long
not
in the
as
tooth.
high profile.
A little long in the tooth.
A little long in the tooth. Okay.
So option one is you get to play guitar with Diamond David Lee Roth.
Whoa.
And that is taking place in Daytona Beach.
Okay, that sounds like a blast.
That sounds like fun. Option two is playing guitar with Vince Neil.
Oh.
From Motley Crue fame, of course.
Okay.
That one's in Miami.
Uh-huh.
Now, here's the rub.
Okay.
The guitars that you have to play maybe are a little less than desirable for your particular...
Yeah, there's budget involved.
Yeah.
I understand that.
You understand. So, in Vince's band, he requires...
Please tell me it's a Keith Urban guitar.
That would be good. But no, it's not.
The Hello Kitty Strat.
Oh, that would be good too. But no, it's not.
Okay.
You have to play a BC Rich Plexi guitar, which weighs about 20 pounds. And, it's a see-through.
Neon. Yeah, they're
neon
see-through
green
neon.
or
green
maybe neon
and
pink.
orange. I know they made those colors.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did a red one.
Now, with Diamond Dave, he's a little more of a traditionalist.
Yeah.
And he demands that you play an old Harmony Rocket. However, this one has half-inch action at the 12th fret.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's a real finger chewer, as they say. So, would you rather play with David Lee Roth?
Yeah.
On a really hard-to-play Harmony? Or would you rather play with Vince Neil on a super heavy BC Rich Plexi?
I got you. Okay. Wow. That is interesting. Tony, why don't you start off? Give Mark, his golden throat a little break.
I think from a music standpoint, and the fact that I cut my teeth on acoustic guitars in my early days as a guitarist, I'm going to go with David Lee Roth.
Okay.
And the hard to play at the 12th fret Harmony Rocket.
Yeah.
Only because I think I could probably make that work. I mean, my days of playing heavy guitars are long gone, even if I were sitting down.
Yeah.
So that's my choice.
Okay.
And, Daytona Beach. Why not?
Right.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Mark?
All right. I gave this some thought. I'm picking David Lee Roth and playing the Harmony. Mostly because from playing in like cover band and stuff, I know that if you sometimes get your fingers are getting a little sore, you can just hit a big chord and let somebody else shine. And I feel like if you let David Lee Roth take the spotlight for a second, you have all the time to rest up.
If he gives it up.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter where they are. You're just going to hit an open E and be like, I'll be here all night.
Yeah.
And if I need to listen to somebody ramble and scat sing, I'd rather pick David Lee Roth over Vince Neil.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like that's a heavier guitar, but I feel like there's also a lot more heavy lifting in the Vince Neil band. So I'm picking Diamond Dave and the hard to play guitar.
All right. That sounds good. Well, I think, if you're down there for spring break, you're down there for fun.
Yeah.
And nobody's more fun than Diamond Dave.
Okay.
So I'm going with Diamond Dave too. But I suspect that Harmony is going to be pretty I'm not thinking it's going to have a lot of sustain. And he's going to say like, "Man, can't you play better?" I said, "Dave, give me a break." And then he's going to hand me a spring break pedal and say, "One break coming up."
How have we not made this commercial?
Right?
We are doing this.
The spring break. Come on.
Spring Break pedal, yeah, baby.
The last commercial we made had the pedal getting a tattoo. This is the next logical step.
Yes, indeed. You really should contact him and say, what would it take to? I bet he's on Cameo, dude. Like you could probably send him one and go, I'll give you an extra 100 if you do the line. That would be amazing. You got to do it. You got to try.
That's going to be our next marketing for the next pedal. We'll just be like, all right, we're going to take a couple $100, get all these people on Cameo to do a shout out and be like, we're taking all of this.
Yeah.
I don't hate that idea.
Okay, well, that was super fun. That was a good one, Tony. You're a really smart guy coming up with all that. We need to thank a few people real quick.
Do we?
Yeah.
Do we really have to?
We not only do we have to, we want to.
We want to. That's a better way to put it. Ooh.
Yeah, wait, go ahead.
Ooh, he says. So, Todd, at this point of the show, there's a special group of people we love to thank. These are our executive producers. Now, an executive producer helps make this show possible. How do you become one? Well, you head over to patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate and become a sponsor, a friend, a hero of the podcast.
Yes.
Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts and opportunities to win pretty cool stuff.
Indeed.
But in addition to all that stuff, there is one thing more. What would that be?
You get to have your name read on the thing, Tony.
Your name read on the thing, Tony. So that's what Tony's going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers: Anthony Lathrop, Brett Hogarth, Cameron Pampas, Darren Gregory, Don Kloss, Elad Mizrahi, James Bell, James White, John Esterly from Rare Buzzer Effects, John Sebastian, John Halverson, Justin Jones, Ken Sayers, Michael Senchuk, Mike Davenport. I did it again. Mike Davenport.
Yes.
Sorry, Mike. Either you're going to have to change the spelling of your name.
He's getting doubles out of it, so that's okay. He'll live with it, I'm sure. He's fine with it.
Okay.
I talked to him.
Okay.
He lives right around the corner.
Oh, nice.
In the UK.
Yeah. Owen Eads, Plutone. Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? Richard Kendall, Rick Calhoun, Rusty Sneeden, Stefan Lamb, Tom Barazin, Trevor Ellenberg, Trevor Gunberg, Vader and Pedals, and Ty Barnes.
Wait.
What?
This just in. Ty Barnes upgraded their membership from executive producer to Grand Poobah.
I'm just going to move him down
You
on the list.
move him down and give him another one.
All right. Well, thanks, Ty. You
that's
are
awesome. Thank you so much.
Speaking of the other list.
Yes.
There's another group of executive producers.
Yes.
We like to call them our Grand Poobahs.
Yes.
Now.
We just had one who completely said, screw the sign that says mind the gap, and he jumped it on a 1982 BMX bike.
He didn't turn back if I were you.
No signs, man.
Yes. So the Grand Poobah category is the creme de la creme, the top of the heap, the A number ones, and they wear a fez on their heads whilst listening to the podcast. Are you wearing your fezzes, Grand Poobahs? Yes. We just got we have instant feedback from all of our Grand Poobahs.
I'm going to cut all that out anyway. Go ahead.
Are you? Why would you cut that out?
Go.
So special thanks to these Grand Poobahs: Anthony Gemalero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robison, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Gregory Randall, Hex Matos, John Williams, Martin Cliff, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Mike Nazionale, Moon Guitars, Pedro Vasquez, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, James Pennington, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wound Pickups, Jonathan Labate from M2 Labs. Oh, and our newest upgrade, Ty Barnes.
Hey.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so very much. As we say every week, you've kept us going for 9 years, and we can't thank you enough. If you're interested in keeping us going for another, at least one, jump the gap. That's what we're saying. All right. Thank you all. Now, Mark, we need to say a humongoid thank you to you for taking time out of your busy day. And as a teacher and as one who's married to a teacher, I totally understand how much time is dedicated to teaching, and we salute you for that. So thank you for taking time out of that.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, guys.
Where can people go get your stuff?
You go to summerschoolelectronics.com. You can go to our Reverb site. If we have a dealer in your area, you could hit up the dealers and play it and get it right there and support small businesses. We have a whole list of dealers on our website, so we're all over the place.
Excellent. And make sure that you try to catch Mark and all this the summer school pedals and everything at one of the 27 things that he listed.
Yeah.
Okay. Tony?
Yeah?
Where can people find the crazy things you do?
Well, go over to pickguardian.com. Check out the stuff that I do. What do? I make custom pickguards for guitars and basses, too, and mandolins. They haven't done one for a banjo yet. How do you get one? Shoot me an email. Let me know what you're trying to do, what you need, what color you want, what pickups you're putting in, all that stuff. I will probably have some good advice for you. I've been doing it for 1,000,000 years. It's your opportunity to make your guitar even more your own.
I love it. All right. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a new Would You Rather. Think you got one that's as at least as good, if not worse, than what we just did? Then send it our way, doggone it. We'd love to read it and give you a shout out. Tell us what you're thinking of the show. Tell us about your gear. Any new gear you got. Start a conversation. That's all we're asking. It's great.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time during the week talking with folks on specifically on Instagram. I think that's the place. So anyways, Mark, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen out there in the world, have a fantastic guitar week and subscribe.
Bozy, bozy, bop, biddly bop.
All right, Mark, are you ready?
I guess so. Let's go for it.
Okay, here we go.
I didn't know they had their own show.
Kind of like Mark Bolan had his own show. And you're like, what? How did Mark Bolan have a show? But he did.
Was it called T-Rex?
I can't remember what it was called, but it was like, everything else that was happening at that time was like, yeah, whatever. I think that's what the show was called.
I have a fan going over here. Is it coming through the microphone at all, or is everything cool?
Oh, we're happy to meet fans.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Tony.
Great to meet you. Tony just dropped in.
Okay.
Boom.
Boosh. Yeah. Dave's in Cozumel and Vince Neil's in Mazatlan. It's spring break. Or no, one's in Miami and one's in Daytona Beach. How about that? You pick, Tony. It's all you. This is your idea. Okay. My dad, he really only delivered 2 great jokes.
Yeah.
He loved to laugh, and he had a great sense of humor. It was hot in our house in Huntington Beach, and my mom said, honey, I've looked all over for the fans. Where are they? He said, I put them up in the attic. My mom's like, the attic? He said, yeah, the applause was driving me nuts. He just couldn't breathe after he said that.
He enjoyed his own joke so
just
much.
Like me, yeah. That's why I get it. Let's see here.
Yes, I can use a pop.
Oh, okay. You want something out of the fridge, Mark?
I used to work with a dude who was our 3-year-old pre-K teacher who was just like the king of dad jokes.
That's pretty young for a teacher's license. Man.
Mark, let me apologize for Todd in advance.
It's fine. You guys are Columbus, right?
Yes.
Yes, all day long.
Yeah.
When you were telling that California
Columbus or die, baby.
Yeah, go crew.
And then the other one was my aunt lived around the corner from us.
Okay.
And we would go to her. She hosted Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
We're gathering up all the food, and so we're carrying hot dishes and all these pies and everything. And my mom was like, honey, do you think we should take the rolls? And he goes, no, I think we should take the Volvo. And he just folded over. Are you trying to climb the old corporate ladder there?
I'm over here building my escape pods one potentiometer at a time.
Yes. Well, make room for us, will you?
Yeah.
Would you like a salsa? Very much then. Yes.
This is like theater of the mind radio.
Let's start over.
You want to start over?
Yeah, I didn't like the way you cut me off.
Okay, all right.
But you can go ahead and start without me.
And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.